Let's see. Do we have sound now?
Let's see if we have some audio.
1, 2, T. Can you guys tell me if we have sound now? There was no sound.
No.
Sound?
From the live feed, yeah.
Yeah?
Sound.
Yep, we're good.
We
Pedro
good?
has
We
replied.
have sound?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pedro.
All right.
Smash him. Back
Cool.
in the room.
Yeah, we're back in the room, and we are now with the system CPU a bit lower. So I just cut some of the stuff. We had some of the fancy stuff we had here, and yeah, we're down to basics.
Well,
down to basics.
While I was sitting here, did Will mention that it looked like I was sitting in the chair from Graham Norton? Have you seen this one? You know where they have to tell like a funny story, or it goes back.
Oh man, that is good. That is amazing.
I'm not telling a story like that.
Okay, let me go back. Where was this?
For the questions, right? Yeah, let's go through some questions.
Let me see, where is that? It's here. Okay. Dun, 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 dun.
So, question number 1.
Comments. All right. So, Linnea. What required you the most practice? I don't know if she's referring to runner. I don't think so. But to the actual comp skills. So from scratch, what required more practice? Roto, prep, or comp?
Oh,
quite interesting.
Completely different game.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would say probably the one thing you really want to nail is Rotopaint, because that's like the most valuable skill to have when you're in comp, because you'll never not always need it, and if you can do it really well, then you're sorted.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah, it's kind of where you learn the basics, no?
Yeah, you know, like the basic ways of like how to set up a script and the type of ways that like nodes interact with each other and how you need to like structure all of your systems and so that it's all working in a proper functional way. If you jump into an extreme comp where you're trying to do lots of different things and you haven't set it up properly, then you're going to end up with a lot of problems, right?
Absolutely.
So,
what do you think, Tess? What was harder for you?
A lot about comp, so I'm not sure I can really.
So let's say Rotopaint and prep.
I've heard a lot of compers mention to me that mainly hard in the way that you kind of have to be very exact about what you do, while if you go into comp, it's more of you kind of something completely new. So they're different and different.
Yeah,
in different
it's a different thing. I think it's a different thing, but for me, it was quite the thing that I struggled the most was regarding the subjectivity of the work. So. Roto, paint, and prep is quite Boolean. Or it's good or it's terrible.
Yeah, it's right or it's wrong.
Is it working or is it not? Do we have time to make it better? Or it's just going to have to be what it is, right?
Yeah, you can look at it and you know immediately if it's right or it's wrong.
So comp is nothing like that. Comp is like whoever looks at that can have a good opinion or a terrible opinion. And sometimes different people in the same room can have completely different ideas.
Yeah, well, it changes movie to movie. Like what the director wants to see and the type of things that they like is different each time, right? So you have to sort of approach things in a different creative way. So I think one of the nice things about working on Ready Player One actually was because a lot of the work that we were doing was full CG environments. You've got an opportunity to be really creative with the way that you're approaching stuff. When you're working with a lot of plate-based shots, you're always referencing back to the plate. You're seeing what you're changing. Like, are you changing too much? Are you not doing enough? So this has been a nice different experience. But yeah, in terms of difficulty,
it's different, right?
Comp is a lot more broad, so there's a lot of different areas that you have to know about. But for me, because I didn't have a massive paint and prep and roto background before I came into it, I found the prep quite a challenge. Because there's, at least when you're painting or when you're doing roto, it's sort of a step-by-step sort of. You can almost switch off a little bit sometimes. You draw the points, you move the shapes by the key frames, and then it's just a time thing. And for paint, I found it is a lot of the same. So you can kind of, the processes that you're going to go through. You're going to sit down, you're going to take this frame, you're going to paint this area, you're going to smudge this, and you're going to do that. And it's like you've got a limited tool set of things that you can do to change. Whereas with prep, it was a lot more broad. Are you gonna paint stuff? Are you gonna static patch? Are you going to project? Are you going to UV project? Are you going to live patch? Are you going to pixel fill? Are you gonna...
And sometimes you try one and you lose time. And when you want to go back to that, it's like, oh shit.
Oh man, when you're learning, you lose like half a day sometimes. Just like, I'm just gonna, I can definitely do a static patch on this and just like warp it with like a corner pin and like maybe some spine warps and. Like 2 hours in, you realize, oh man, I've just wasted my time. This is not going to work. I need something a little more evolving, like a UV project or something.
All right, what were Tell me.
I think people, like a lot of people who I meet who were in like paint and roto, who were like wanting to get into comp. I always find they're always like, oh, I really want to get into comp. But the thing is like paint is comp. It's because I remember doing some shots on live where the most challenging tasks were the paint tasks, and and they were the comp tasks, were like the wire removals and stuff, which were really complex. So yeah, paint is comp.
Pretty much.
It's just you do different things. The difference is like you were talking about, like you then go into like the CG world and stuff, but it's still comp skills.
Absolutely. So it's where you learn the basics, right? If you don't go through prep, how can you be a good comper? How can you learn to comp without ever going through the kind of the methodology of organizing your script? Is where do you start straight away? Do you start straight away comping? That's why sometimes we see some crazy scripts. Yeah. Because people didn't have that school.
Well, right? I think the interesting thing with how you prep or how you paint stuff.
Ben Charles is in.
Hey Ben.
Hi Ben.
The nice thing about when you're prepping or when you're trying to prep something out, it's the procedural approach where you always have to work from what's in the far off distance to what's in the foreground, right? Yeah. So you have to work in a layer based way where you're doing like, right, okay, so now I'm going to do the far background, and then I'm going to do the midground, and then I'm going to do the foreground, and then I'm going to do like the extreme foreground. So you have to sort of layer things in that way. And the comp is
you want to do everything at the same time.
Yeah, well, the comp
kill it at the same time.
The comp is the same thing. You have to sort of structure things like. It's Marion always says the same thing to me. Marion's one of the comp supervisors from Ready Player One, and first working with him on episode 7 at ILM. That was my first show for ILM, and so I had my first experience working with Marion in comp, like for an extended period of time on Ready Player One. He's like, look, whatever you do. This is how you're going to structure your scripts. You're going to go top to bottom left to right, back to front. And now, like, this is how I structure everything this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
and plus you get to...
Sorry.
Say that again, Chris.
Oh, sorry, it froze. Sorry. I wasn't sure if you were still talking.
All right, next question. What were the biggest difficulties that you encountered as runners? Difficulties as runners. Miss Tess, tell us something. What did you feel? Talking with people.
Maybe. I'll take the question first because I can't really think of moments.
Okay, so
I think this kind of answers the question.
Well, I don't know. For me, for running, I think the biggest thing was like the time management. So you have your regular working day where you're doing maybe 8 till 5 or 9 till 6 or 11 till 8 or whatever your shift pattern hours are, because they change a lot week on week, depending on what they need. And then on top of that, in your spare time, you're doing your training. So that was how we all sort of moved up a double negative, was with the training in our spare time. So the biggest challenge for me as a runner was having a regular working day of 8 or 9 hours or whatever as a runner, and then in your spare time you want to try and put as much time into that training as you can. So you'd end up doing another 8 hours or another 9 hours on top of your regular working days. So for me, it was trying to find out how I was gonna fit in all of the time to do the training that I wanted and still like be good at the job that I was doing, that I was being paid to do, was to be the runner. Because you can't just focus on the training, or you're not going to get the runner position. You can't just do the runner, or you're not going to progress. So tricky. Time management for me.
Tricky. Chris.
Great.
Yeah, no, that's it. That was the biggest thing, really. It was just trying to balance that time.
Yeah, because it was quite tricky, right? So you guys were doing the normal hours, and then we would stay quite late training.
But we wouldn't training courses with you until like what? Well, 10, half 10, and then we would stay after your training to do.
Oh, Sam Horgan is in. Hi guys,
hello,
hope you're all well. Love from Montreal.
Hey Sam.
You want to join us, Sam? Join us. Send me your email.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Haven't spoken to Sam in a while.
Send your email.
Sam's another really talented artist that we had a chance to work with.
I'll add you into the Google Hangouts. So sorry, Chris. What were you saying? Christopher Whitford.
Oh yeah, sorry, what?
Yeah, what were you saying, buddy?
What were you saying?
You were saying about the challenges as well.
Oh, what did I say?
So basically, you were saying that we were not the training late.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we'd do like your training, which we would finish at what? It was 10:30 sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember we used to stay like a couple of hours after that until like
yeah.
go over those skills to apply to the training shots that we had. So it was a lot of hours.
Yeah, completely.
That was crazy, man. I remember seeing you guys like after the training sessions. You'd go back to your seat and start working. It's like no, guys. Like you need to go home. You need to rest.
Well, I didn't used to go home on the Fridays. I used to stay.
Yeah.
I used to stay at DNEG on the Fridays and work through the night, and then grab a couple hours of sleep in the morning on one of the couches or something, and then train through the day on Saturday and go home last train on Saturday night for me to get back.
Crazy. I do not recommend if the other guys are listening. I do not recommend this.
Yeah, 100% don't do this.
Don't do that. Absolutely. Crazy.
Yeah, it was long hours, man. It was long, but we were passionate about trying to move up and like grab onto this opportunity, because I hadn't had the sort of training that Carlos was given before. So when he was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna use like my spare time to just show you some things," I was like, "Right, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna take notes, and then I'm gonna go in my own time, and I'm just gonna practice this over and over." And yeah, like I was saying before, I did computer graphics technology at university, which was a good foundation for understanding like the concept of visual effects, but you do everything. So you do some rigging, you do some animation, you do physics, you do maths, you do programming, you do like one semester of compositing, which works out at I don't know, 3 or 6 months. But if you look at how much actual class time you're having, 2-hour lesson once a week, and then 2-hour workshop. So he would talk for 2 hours in one of the lessons, then you'd have a workshop later in the week where it's like, this is an exercise. But again, we weren't doing roto, we weren't doing like frame by frame paint, we weren't doing the sort of prep skills that I was learning.
No?
Yeah, the heavier stuff I wasn't learning. Yeah. So when I was starting the whole process at DNEG, it was tough. It was like a steep learning curve where I was like, oh, this is roto? I never heard of this before, man. Like, I have to draw around stuff to make an alpha. So
it's quite a shock. It's quite a shock, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did Scape Studios, and then we learned a few things. But again, it's the shock when you get to the industry and you realize that you know nothing.
The standard is just like another level, man. Yeah, completely.
Taz, how was it? How was it to move from Campus I-12? I'm actually flying in a few hours back to Campus I-12 because I'm teaching Mondays and Tuesdays in Sweden, and then flying back to Portugal on Wednesday to teach the guys at Odd School. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays back in Portugal. So it's been quite crazy, but I'm loving Sweden. Tell us, Tess, how was how was the transition from again studying, and that is a really nice course, to the real world? Quite shocking, as for me, or no?
Well, it was, say, like different. Like, I think we mainly kind of focused on the comp part uni too. So like when I came to DNEG, it was more like about all these like new techniques and everything. Cool. And this was like a steep learning curve, kind of.
Because for me was kind of the same. Like at Scape, we were focusing like 99% in going to comp. It's like comp techniques, keen techniques. It's like there was a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff that I only used 5 years later.
yeah, exactly. Like I had like my experience of like learning to key was like I had a digital tutors lesson that like my lecturer had recommended that I go and watch on keying. So like I go and I watch.
I should do that.
Well,
so guys, let's class for today. Let's get some digital tutors account and let's watch some videos.
Well, yeah, I have got this magazine that I want to read, so it'd be really nice if you could just go and watch a video that's going to tell you how to do stuff. But yeah, so I learned keying before I understood roto. But you know, a lot of keying is about rotoing out certain sections to like treat different areas of the key in a specific way, because you can't just have. There's no such thing as like a one pick key. I was like, oh yeah, I know how to key. I grab the color pick. I press the color, and then I just like drag the sliders about until it works, right?
Christopher, he's still working out. He's still working out.
Oh,
like
daily, dude.
Look at like bicep.
Hang on.
Chris's workout routine like puts me to shame. Like he's up every morning at like 6 a.m. and he's doing like these crazy exercises and at home and like the weight training stuff, and then like the diet as well, dude. The diet. I'm so lazy compared to this guy. He's getting up and he's like preparing his meals and like his breakfast and like crushing it in the mornings before work. Like I'm still in bed. Like 8, 9 o'clock, I'm like just fast asleep. And Chris has already like had half a day before me. He's got up, he's done exercises, he's made breakfast, he's made lunch before he gets to work. He's got to work. He's had like a tea and a coffee, and then like I saunter in and I start my day, and Chris is like 4 hours into his already.
Mate, my day today was a Domino's pizza and some cookies.
It was the odd day, right?
Cheat day.
Cheat day. Cheat day is always fine.
Sorry, yeah. Is that sheet or is that cheat or is that
Wait, which camera are we using? This one.
Yeah, we were joking earlier about the accent of like the certain way of saying things. It's always makes me laugh for some reason.
Crazy. We spent like a solid hour on the restaurant saying sheep.
You got like the chip that you eat, the ship that you go on, the sheet that you draw on,
and cheap, something cheap.
And the cheap if something doesn't cost a lot.
Oh man. It's too much.
I bought some cheap chips on the ship and recorded on my sheet of paper.
Oh, you're a poet. All right. Next question. Question. What inspired you to become better? Ooh. Do you guys want to start that? Chris.
what was that? To become better?
Yeah, what inspired you? Because sometimes you don't need to go further, right? Why did you push? And you were always like the eye flyer. Like you were like, yeah, top of the pack. You want to be like, get out.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? It was actually the friendly competition between our group.
Yeah, true.
Like not as,
Tess is
not as in,
laughing.
like,
Because Rosie was laughing.
Rosie was.
I thought it was the friendly part. It's like, guy, I'm going to crush you.
It's not like
I'm going to stay so late tonight, and I'm going to make sure that my shot's so much better than yours. It's like, hey, Chris, how you doing today? Do you want to go for a tea for a minute? Great, I'll be there in a sec. It's like furious Roto while he's away from his desk.
Frames.
Yeah,
I'm going to do 2 more frames.
Sorry, carry on, Chris. I interrupted. Yeah.
It was the friendly competition. Like we all pushed each other. Like not like trying to compete to be better than anyone else, but to help each other along. So like, as you know, like me and Alejandro worked together. We moved up. We moved from DNEG to ILM at the same time, and now from
work wives.
From pretty much, and then from paint to comp at the same time. And yeah, we're like always showing each other our work and like getting advice on it. So like, you know, I'll send him my shot saying like what you think can be better, and he'll do the same for me. And like it just makes your work better. Like, and all these really high class artists, like, I mean, I can't believe it. I feel like I stumbled into it by accident. and sometimes I feel like I shouldn't be there. Does that make sense?
Oh, come on. No.
It's like, I was like,
no. I don't agree with that.
No, but you get what I mean. Like, it's a weird feeling. Like, you'll never get over it. As soon as you get your first, it's like, you can't believe it.
And you look around.
Am I really working there? And like,
yeah. And the thing, you look around. At least I had that feeling. So I started at ILM as a junior comper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look around, and you've been like senior, doing something as a senior for a long time.
For the paint,
for the paint and prep and then supervision and stuff. And then you join in and you look around, and so like it's just genius people around you. Come on, Scott Pritchard, Dan Snape, John Galloway, Marion. It's like serious. And then you have like Claudio, Michele, Luca,
Adrian.
It's like, dude, it's. I looked around and like, yeah. Oh, and it's like, oh, Carlos, yeah, you know, we're gonna give you some more easier shots because like, yeah, there's a lot of senior people around. It's like, yeah, dude, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's like, yeah, I have a pair of eyes. I look around and I want to learn with these people. It's fine. So yeah,
but the greatest thing about
quite overwhelming.
So the greatest thing about that is you can then, like, you see all these people doing amazing stuff, and then these people, you know, they show you what they're doing, and they'll sit down and explain to you. Like, if you go like, "Oh, how did you do that?" It'd be like, boom, and they'll spend hours with you, just going through stuff. They'll, you know, take their own time out to show you how they did it, and then, you know, you then take that onto your projects, and you know, everyone's
crazy.
It's a great crazy, work ethic. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. It happens to me like every day as well. So on episode 8, like I'm putting my first like big comp show, and Denny, who is the lead on one of the sequences that I was working on, like I'm putting things together, and like he opens up my script and he's like looking through to see how I was structuring things. He's like, oh look, man, you can do this better. Like this is like a more intelligent way of working that you get like the better results. And every time I'm blown away by something that someone shows me, or like Marion will walk past and like he'll talk to you about the correct luminance of the green screen to tell like how you know if it's going to be a good key, or Adrian will come over and show me how to put like a complex script together in just like no time at all. Or it's this every day, man. I love it.
Oh man, crazy.
What was the original question? Was like
what inspired you to become better?
Yeah, it's tough. I think like Chris's answer was pretty on the money actually, and the nice thing about it at the time is you were sort of pushing us to have more of a like a social vibe to that as well, because you know, you're starting out as a runner. You don't know anyone else that you're starting with. Everyone's come from different places. Chris has come from a different part in England. I've come from like London. Tessa's come from Sweden, and so like you're thrown into this situation, and then it's like you're all given a chance to prove yourself at something. But you are a unit. You are a group. You're going to work as a group on a film, and you're going to work on as a group on a sequence of shots. So we were spending time together. We had some chance to each come in and like show a skill that or a hobby that we have outside of work. So you've got like
nice.
Matty C was coming in, and he was showing like some DJ stuff, and then like it changed all the time. So having like a group of other people that you knew you could turn to, like could support you, they're going through the same things as you, was a key thing. Like when you've got like that hard day where you're just like, you're so tired, you've had a full day of running, you're training really late, and you see these other guys that are just like doing the same as you, you're like, yeah, this is going to push me to be a better artist, a better person. So yeah, Chris's answer was on the money with that. And Bruce Lee.
And Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee.
Yeah, man, this guy.
Oh man, I have 2 Bruce Lees in there.
I grew up with Bruce Lee movies.
My figure art.
So like my dad was had a restaurant for a number of years that was opposite like a Blockbuster Video. Every other night he would come home with like a new movie, and it was always like a martial arts. It'd be like a Bruce Lee movie, maybe like Jackie Chan and Jet Li. So I grew up around it, and then you read about the life of Bruce Lee, and he's like getting up and he's doing like thousands of push-ups and like elevated V-sits for hours, and then just like raising his calves for hours, and then just gets like that electric fight and
Yeah. And you guys, let me tell you guys have had some crazy ethics. Like you would try hard every time. You're not lazy.
No issues, guys.
Oh, do you have issues? Yeah, I'm going to do anything.
Maybe switch off our video for them, for Chris and for the videos.
It's difficult. Can you hear Chris? Can you hear us? No? He can't hear us. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. It's like before.
Yeah, it's lagging again.
Oh man, I can't do anything. System CPU is quite low now. Yeah. Nothing here. Must be like software or something.
Can we close the website as well? Just like
yeah.
What were you using?
It doesn't matter. I'm not even capturing that. It's not even capturing that. Yeah. I don't know. I think it might be because we're capturing
it's back to normal.
Back to normal? Ah.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's try to carry on. I think people didn't say anything on the live stream.
Chris did straight away. Audio issues.
But Chris, I don't know if Chris is listening to the live stream or just the Skype call.
What were you saying before it started jumping?
I don't remember. Let's move on to the next question.
Cool.
All right, next question. Did they have some experience in film production before entering into the industry as aspiring compositors?
I had a little bit as like a production runner. So straight out of so my university had a placement year, and the placement year option that they gave me was like a game forum moderator, which would have been just like making sure that the language was acceptable on like a game forum or something for a year or so. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do this, and managed to go away and get some work at Channel 4 as like an intern doing some free work, thanks to my cousin Martin, who had some contacts, and he was like, well, it would be really cool if like I could come in for a day and do some stuff. And then I ended up there, and then I met a production runner through that, and I did some graphics and animation internship for a few months. And then the contact that I've made for production running was like, hey man, we've got some work for this company called Splash Media, so if you want to come and be a production runner, you can come in. So I had like some TV series that we were working on, which are special, We were doing like a funny TV show called Flash Prank, which was like a prank show, which was like some of the most fun I've had, where you're working on a set and you're doing like a hidden camera show, and everyone in this area is like pretending that this is a real thing, and then you're backstage like giggling like a child at all of these crazy things that were going on. And then after that, like doing some running while they were doing Desperate Scousewives was one of the other productions that they did.
Cool.
And then I went back to uni for my final year, but I had a little bit of working in production.
Experience.
Yeah, so I understood a little bit of the process. Obviously, as much as you can as a runner, but the nice thing as a runner is you get to do a lot of different things. So sometimes you're going there early and you're setting up teas and coffees and food and stuff, or other times maybe you're shadowing the cameramans that you can trail after them with some wires, or you're holding a boom mic. You get to do a little bit of everything.
It's a really good experience. Man.
Yeah, it's a nice thing as a runner to like for production and for post production is you get a chance to put your finger in a lot of different pies and sort of see which way you want to go. So
in a way that was better than the way I started. I started in CG, but I've never had an experience as a runner. So doing these kind of things and actually working on the set or helping out, I didn't have that experience. Well, I went once to set.
If you'd like some experience like doing running, you're welcome to come to my house and like clean some kitchens, make some teas and coffee for me. You know, I can show you the ropes, man. We can arrange something for sure. And I can train you in my spare time.
It's all right, mate. It's all right. Let's not.
Lazy.
Guys, tell me. Tess, any experience before, or Chris?
So I didn't do university. I did college, graphic design and stuff. And then as soon as I left that, I went straight into a job doing motion graphics and graphic design for like an events company. Mm-hmm. I did that for 5 years, and then to do the Escape Studios course, and then got into running a DNEG. So I actually got into it pretty late, because I mean, I'm almost 30 now, and I started running when I was...
What do you mean? You're almost 30, and then what? Are you old now? No, you're
but
young.
Compared to some of the
calling me
people
old.
who started...
No, he's saying the process of like how he got into like starting for visual effects was a little bit later than some people go for it.
Yeah,
motion graphics is a completely different vibe, right?
I was just teasing you.
Is that right, Chris?
Yeah.
Don't tease my work wife.
I didn't start running until I was 24, 25.
Yeah.
And then it was a bit late compared to some people, but yeah, that was my into the industry.
That was a nice experience. Tess, tell us.
Well, after uni, I did an internship at Denmark and did some craft over there. I did a little bit of freelancing, and then I just moved into.
But what did you do on the internship? Was it post production?
Well, the first one was Roto and Prep. Dream first one actually, and the second one was doing commercials and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Cool. All right. She wins.
Yeah.
She wins. She's
Damn
really
it.
working on industry.
Damn it, Tess.
That's why she kicked your ass.
Yeah, this is why she kicked my ass.
That's why. Actually, yesterday. Oh, not yesterday. 2 days ago, we watched Alejandro's show reel. The first show reel.
Oh man, it's so bad, so bad.
He showed that to the guys at Odd School.
Yeah,
and that was hilarious.
Man, yeah, I wanted to show them like where I'd come from. So like straight out of uni,
good,
I'd done this video and like I finished like pretty high in my uni, and my lecturer was like, oh, this is a really great video. And so I'd come out of it thinking, oh yeah, nailed it, guys. I'm just going to go straight for the comp jobs. I'm going to apply to DNEG as like a compositor because, you know, have you seen these keying skills? And like,
No, I mean, it was bad.
it was dreadful. It was dreadful.
It was. I couldn't. I think honestly,
Yeah.
you were high. You were high on something when you did that.
Well, the nice thing was like I did it all myself, so I didn't use any of the footage that they were using about university. I bought like what I could afford with a student wage, and I did the matte paintings for the background.
Matte paintings.
Well, you know, loosely speaking. Scott Anderson, I'll show you how to do it properly if you'd like. Scott's a really talented matte painter. Obviously, like a rung below me, but you know, it's.
So you actually did a storyboard for that?
Yeah, man. I researched for so many months. I was like researching like the right ways that like cloud move, like because I had some clouds in the background which were whack, by the way.
Even the particles. Even the particles.
I researched how to do particles, but the particles had no motion blur. So this is one of the things that was like super weird, and like
Nice.
the defocus was all at different levels because you've got the defocus level where you've got some particles really close to the camera that were like out of focus. And then it went to in focus, and then out of focus. And then you had a person, which was in focus. And then you had a screen behind her that went from like out of focus. Oh man, nothing made sense.
God.
But it was, looking back at it now is fairly dreadful. Like just the worst. But that wasn't how I'd managed to get the job at DNEG as a runner. I'd managed to get there because I'd done some running before. So I could go in and be like, look, I'm a really, really hard worker. Like, please look at my hard work and not my rubbish video. I will clean all the kitchens so many times.
I do the best coffee.
I make great coffee, just for the record. But yeah, so they'd said like, oh yeah, this isn't the best show reel. This isn't the best that I've seen, but it looks like you're committed to working hard, so we'll give you like a shot as a runner, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh man, crazy! I remember Chris. Chris, like the first week that I heard about Chris, and like he was showing me his show reel. I was like, oh Carlos, I want to show you my show reel. I was like, dude, you just got in. You got the job. It's like, just forget about that. It's like, yeah, just wing it.
Man, Chris's
fine.
show reel terrified me. When I
Yeah,
looked at it compared to mine.
That's true.
I looked at mine.
Compared with yours,
yeah,
it was like it was next level.
I didn't have like a massive amount of like other people putting together the same kind of show reel that I was for the visual effects companies. So the first experience that I had seeing a lot of my competition, as it were, was like, oh hi, my name's Chris, oh this is my show reel, and I was like, oh man, I am so freaking lucky to be here right now. Like, why have they given me this job? I'm gonna have to train so hard to catch up to like his base level, and meanwhile Chris is like zoom, just like off in the distance.
Oh yeah,
he's already like 20 steps ahead, and I'm like, oh damn man, I'm gonna have to stay here all night.
And you did. And you did.
Yeah, I did.
So sometimes we had to close your computer, just log into your computer.
Well, yeah,
and
there
just
was we were going out for like some Christmas drinks or something.
Yeah.
After one of the nights on Exodus, and I was like, I've got to finish this shape. I've got to finish rotoing this thing. And like the lead roto on Exodus double negative is like, this is not okay. So he like goes in on his computer and starts like remote logging into mine and like shutting it down. And I was like, oh damn it. And I like sneakily try and like load it back up again. And Colin spots it. He's like, nope.
No.
Shut down.
Shut down.
Oh, that was so stressful. That was so stressful because I just wanted to be like, hey man, I'm just gonna finish this one shape, just these 2 frames. It was never 2 frames. It was always like 10 or 20.
Of course. OCD.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. What about you, Tess? I think I've never seen your show reel. Yeah, I've never seen Tess's show reel.
I think Tess, you showed me a show reel, didn't you? Like back in the day.
I can't remember.
You should
No.
you should
Very
send it again.
I remember. Yes, didn't you have a Pacific Rim shot of them in the water at the end?
A Pacific Rim.
I didn't have that in my show reel.
I-
Here.
Chris is dreaming. she's not like Chris. No. She's like no. Shh.
What?
No.
No, I just had like commercial stuff.
Oh, just some commercials.
Just some commercial
Oh.
work.
Ugh.
Just like minor
Oh,
work.
just just that stuff that like millions of people see when they turn on the TV. Just like just some filler, man. Just some. I hate you guys.
So did you have a proper show reel with some proper skills? Yeah, for sure.
I don't even have a show reel anymore.
You don't have a show reel anymore.
No, it's true. My last show reel update was.
Oh yeah. Of course. Like when you move, when you move companies, you get the show reel done.
I think I don't even know if I was able to put one together for ILM when I was applying to go to ILM. I don't think I was able to send a show reel that was complete because there was.
You're like, I'm so good, I don't even need a show reel anymore.
Oh no, that's a lie. No, I did have some stuff from Interstellar, and
nice.
I think
we had the Insurgent as well.
did we have Insurgent for the interview at ILM?
I think so.
I remember when
at least you could talk about it.
No, I think when contract was coming to an end, like in the early days at ILM, I started putting together like some showreel things again, and I had the Insurgent material then, but I don't think I had it when I was applying for ILM because I was still working on it at the time, right?
Well, I remember mine had Exodus and Interstellar, and I swear it had Insurgent on, and which would have meant you would have had as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't really remember. I must have had Interstellar. Probably had some Exodus. I don't know. It feels like an age ago now. Like it feels like a while ago, but realistically, it's just a few years.
Yeah, it's just like a couple of years.
Yeah.
3.
You guys went really fast.
It's just 3
guys
years.
went really fast.
It feels
You guys
like
jumped a few years of crazy work, but that was all due to your hard work.
It was
craziness, pretty crazy. All right, so I have here Olga, my wife, saying you could get into the role of runner at home, Carlos.
I think that's a spectacular idea. I think that's the type of thing that I was talking about, Olga. Maybe we could share him actually, because I'd quite like some help around my home. So you could have him like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe I just have him on the weekends when I'm like feeling lazy, or if I'm at work on like a Saturday.
Wait! I only have Saturday free right now.
That's okay. I can manage with that. Can we split him on Saturday, Olga?
All right, we have Rita from Advanced Comp Series.
Hey, Alison.
Odd School. I would like to know how much time did you take to do the first roto? Was it a month like us?
What was my first roto?
Oh, that's going back.
Yeah, my first roto was, but at DNEG was shocking. I did not have the same sort of shape theory that I have now, where like you break everything down properly, and like this would be like a shape here on like this side, then this would be a shape, and like you break it down properly. I'd done like the fingers all the way up to the shoulder. This is going to be one shape.
Up to the shoulder.
The fingers to the top of the shoulder. Yeah, this is one shape because it's one limb. You draw that as one shape, or like the head from like the neck and the hair. This was all one shape, and it was like point, like as many points as I could. Like I could squeeze in
because you want to add a lot of detail.
I
right?
want to make sure I get all the detail, Carlos. So I'd done like it was like hair that was like flapping. So I'd obviously done like hundreds of points, and it was keyframing like every frame, obviously, because
God.
something would move over here and it wouldn't move over here. So I'd move everything together, and then I'd be like, well, I might as well just move all the points.
And how long did it take you?
Man, I don't even remember now.
You didn't finish, probably, no?
No, I did finish this one.
Did you finish?
It was approved.
Oh.
It was approved. Somehow.
That is even worse.
Well, I think that just says that, you know, one shape theory is the way, man. I think let's stop.
One shape Colin. That's. Do you remember where did it came? The one shape Colin.
I remember
there was a one shape someone else.
There was it was probably me. I at least did it as a joke once or twice. I was like, I'm just going to do like 3 frames where I turn off all the other shapes and scare Carlos when he's like opening my script to see what I've done. I'm just going to draw one shape for the whole person. For when he first opens it up, he's going to boom, the entire body, thousands of points. I just like to see like your face melt.
What? What?
No
way.
Especially if you'd have approved it before like opening the script. It's like, oh yeah, this looks like... no.
Oh my god. What about you, Tess? How much time did it take you for the first shot? Too long?
Well, I can't really tell at DNEG or just like
DNEG.
in general.
DNEG. Before it was a different level. Like your A game.
I remember what it was.
I don't think it was like really. Well, depending on shots, obviously we didn't them all like in one go because we did them on our free time, so it took a bit longer.
Yeah, it's tricky.
I had a pretty good mentor, so I told to break down the shapes.
Crazy talk, Tess. Crazy talk.
I remember when once we had a meeting with India, so that was when like Prime Focus got in, and I had to show a good example of roto and showing up noodle, and I had to choose a shot. So I was looking into the scripts, and suddenly I opened Tess's script, and it was like the most beautiful thing that I've seen. It's like all the shapes super round, the colors were like gradients and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, so pretty.
I remember the shot. It had the like the skirts of some of the people in Exodus, but like the dress at the bottom is like shaking around, and then there's like some fire stuff going on, and they're moving like away from the camera, so there's the depth stuff as well.
There was some steps, right?
There's some steps that they were on, and they were like shining the fire around, and it had
because of the frogs.
The frogs, it was the frogs on Exodus. That was it.
And that shot, I was like, oh my, I needed a good shot, and I could easily use any of your shots. And then I was looking at that, it's like, oh, this is it. This is not just a shot. This is a shot that is beautifully presented.
Yeah.
If it's effective or not with so many like beautiful things, I don't know. But
I remember Tess saying as well, it's like, oh, I thought maybe like this had taken me like too long or whatever. And like first time, I'm pretty sure like first time it was approved, just like straight through, and it was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, there was one hole in the alpha.
Oh,
unacceptable. Shame on you, Tess.
Shame on you.
Unforgivable. Unforgivable.
Oh my god.
Insta sack. P45 on your waiting on your
P45.
desk when you come in the next day.
Hole on the mat. Nah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Table flip as you're reviewing it. You see the hole in the mat and you're like, Tess?
It's like, Tess,
boom.
Get out. Out of here. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Freaking hell. Chris, tell us, mate, your first roto shot.
The training shots was
it could be or if you go to first one done on a show, that must be Interstellar.
Oh god.
I remember Interstellar that you guys were doing roto for temps, and you finished the roto for temps for final actually. you final the shots.
I remember my first roto shot on a show, which is weird, but I remember the first training shot I did. On, do you remember the Harry Potter one with the bridge?
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, the first
Harry Potter.
Mm.
Yeah, that bridge. That looked awful.
Yeah, that was.
Thanks, mate.
That looked shit.
That was also glorious one shape theory.
That was one, and you all did the same thing. You all did it wrong.
Let's have a Roto like showdown right now, Carlos.
Oh,
all right, let's bring it.
Game on, bitch. Game on. What do you want? What do you want? I can open it here. You probably kicked
Harry
my ass.
Potter, man. Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, that was one I remember as being the first one we did, I think.
Do you remember how long it took you?
Oh, ages.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's difficult to say because like we were doing the regular working days, and then you maybe have like an hour for lunch, so you go and like smash your food, and then you've got like 40 minutes of Roto during your lunch break, and then you do some time after work or whatever, and it's sort of like hit and miss. So if it's a few weeks, it's a few weeks because you don't know where your time's being spent. That's my excuse.
Oh, Chris took the beanie. Oh,
Oh,
oh, sexy.
you look beautiful, buddy.
Oh, your hair. You
I
changed your
got
hair again.
horrendous hat.
You changed your hair
Horrendous hat hair,
again.
mate.
I can't see Chris.
Yeah.
This one has run out of battery.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, he's there. He's there.
Hey, buddy.
Got rid.
Where's your hairstyle, man?
Where?
You had some
And
you had some crazy hair at some point.
Back to normal.
Had the blonde tips for a while, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Daniel Loris.
Look like Malfoy.
Do you remember
You say Draco Malfoy.
Draco Malfoy? That was half Malfoy, half Harry Potter, no?
Yeah. You're channeling both there, man. 'Cause you had like the regular hair color from like the sides down, and then the blonde on the top. It was good though, man. I thought it was a good look.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
For a year until I got bored with it.
Yeah, I do the same thing, man. My hair goes through stages.
Allison is saying you cover up your boy band hair, Chris. It's Scotty here. Oh, it's Scotty.
Oh, hello,
Hi,
Scotty.
Scotty.
You're right, buddy.
Hi, buddy. How's it going? Loving the chat. Yeah, boy band hair. Oh, Scott is watching. Scott is watching.
Pressure on, man.
I need to do. I promised a podcast with Scotty. We're gonna show all the toys. It's gonna be a toy showdown. Crazy. Oh,
Yeah,
guys.
Scotty's desk at work is pretty spectacular. For those of you that don't know Scotty, he's a pretty like sensational guy where he'll go out during like a lunch break one day and just be like, oh, I was just walking past the comic book store again, and I've got this thing that I bought, and it's like boom, like TIE fighter that comes up to your waist, or like things that he's hanging around the office. Like Scotty's like the mascot for Star Wars, sure. At the office, he's got the things that he's hanging up around, so he's increasing the fun sort of work vibe. He's got like TIE fighters hanging from the ceiling, like yeah, AT-ATs. Like he can't even put on his desk anymore, so he's got AT-ATs on someone else's desk. But yeah, he's a lot of fun to work with, man.
Scotty took it to the next level.
Yeah, man, I love working with Scotty. He's a good guy.
I had a tray with sand, and I would collect. Do you remember that tray with sand, man?
Yeah, you had the tray with sand for like from when one of the first trailers for episode 7 was like that shot of the desert where it had the sand and the Star Destroyer like in the sand in the background. So Carlos had gone out and got like a dinner tray that you get like with your school lunches when you're a kid, and filled it up with sand, and then started putting all these Star Wars.
The first one was like a Star Destroyer, and it was like forced perspective on the background.
Yeah.
And then I added like two X-Wings, and so I'm like, yeah, this is so expensive. It's going to take me like a year to build up.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't resist, and suddenly like next day I would bring in another one.
It extended. Yeah. It ended up with like 8 ships in this tray of sand on his desk. Yeah. And then when you left to go to Scanline,
oh man, epic.
You left me like a little pile of sand on my desk to remember you by.
And you guys offered me like a big ship, like it would cover all of the other ones.
Sorry, a big chip?
Oh, fuck off.
Big tray of chips?
Fuck off.
Was it cheap?
Scotty, look at what I have here. It's R2D2 Sphero, man. This is the cutest.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The R2D2 Sphero it's got like all of the same sort of attributes from the BB-8 one, but it's kind of cool, man. You got like the leg that comes out of the bottom and like the head that spins around. I feel like, Chris, this is probably something that you would freaking love.
Chris, it's next level.
BB-8's in the cupboard.
Is it?
Dude, the thing with BB-8 is that you can't control it too much. It's just like spins around and it's a bit erratic, the movement. This one is crazy because you have control on everything. And he does like predefined things like the beep, 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 and then he boom falls up.
Yeah.
Or just the wow.
And it stands with like the two legs here, and then like the one in the middle pops out, and then he leans back and starts shooting off and doing his own thing. Yeah.
Oh man, crazy,
it's actually pretty cool.
And actually, we went to.
Doesn't come out of his legs.
Sorry?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't do the jet. He can't fly, man.
No, he can't.
Yeah, rubbish. Take it back. Take it back, dude. Maybe you could like improvise some stuff, like stick some matches on the bottom for effect.
Can you give me the
No.
hand solo?
No.
Come on.
Yeah.
I want to show to Scotty. Scotty, I have a problem. I went with Alejandro to just one to Hyper Toys. It's my friend. Oh, it's that one over there. Yeah, that. Like that. No. Oh, that's a Stormtrooper. That will do. So we went to Hyper Toys to bring some vouchers for the guys at Art School, and basically. I was showing Alejandro. Oh, so this is the place. This is the SH Figure Arts display.
The place that you were shooting your short, right?
Oh yeah. And I shot the Spark movie, and suddenly I look at the display and so like, oh shit, that was Han Solo. And next to it was Chewbacca, and I was like, oh shit, no.
I just came in here to get some vouchers for Movember, and now I'm going to have to buy everything.
Oh, no, man. What is Scotty saying? Oh, wow. Okay, I have questions. One, what shot was your favorite and why?
Oh, what shot? Across like any show?
Yeah.
Chris, you start. I don't know.
God. That's really hard. Because actually, I can't say because it's not out yet.
Oh, it's a new one.
I can't tell you. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. One of my favorite shots was one that I had on Ready Player One. But I can tell you my favorite. No, I can't even tell you my favorite from episode 8.
Okay, without counting the ones in
without spoilers.
Yeah, well, yeah, without counting with the latest ones. Before that.
What was a shot that I was quite proud of?
Tess, tell us. Tess is like yeah, I'm not even here. What was your favorite shot?
I'm not sure what shot.
You're not sure?
Think about that.
Come on.
I think then maybe mine was one that I'd had at like one of my earlier shots at ILM was from episode 7, which was a shot where I don't know. Am I allowed to say spoilers for episode 7? It's been out for a while now. Come on. Yeah,
there's like 3 years now.
I don't want to like enrage anyone. You know, the Star Wars fans take it to a new level, man.
No. Star Wars fans watch the movie.
Yeah,
not 3 years later.
You got like the housemate I used to live with that went to go see it like 3 or 4 times in the cinema, or saw it like 12 o'clock on the first night it came out. So there's one shot on episode 7 that's got the bit coming out of the tunnel where Maz Kanata's castle. Yeah. And they're coming out of the tunnel after all hell's breaking loose. So you've got Chewbacca comes out and Finn comes out and he's got the lightsaber on him. And I had this one and it had like a slow pan from like right to left, and I did all of the roto for it, and I did like I still remember. So you've got on like Finn's jacket like this frilly detail on the side.
Oh, I remember that.
And instead of like just doing maybe like a straight shape and figure it out afterwards, I'd done like hundreds of shapes down the side. I was quite proud of, and there was like 15 or 16 markers that were all in different places at different depths, and the camera was moving around in a crazy way, and then it zooms in a bit at the end, and there was like markers on everything, and some other pieces like set removal. There was like a cameraman that was hiding in hiding in the shot. You see sometimes, like in some of the paint and prep removals you have to do, someone that's like just sitting in a corner, like just like this camera definitely can't see me, and it's like fully in view. It's like, dude, come on. Like, if you can see the front of the lens, you should probably move a little more to the side. And he's just like watching it all go down. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun on that shot. It was quite long, and it was one of like my first bigger paint shots that I'd had. I was quite proud of that.
Oh man,
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
freaking hell, Chris.
Yep. I'd probably go with. Oh, I can tell you what my favourite show was. And that was hands one.
Which
It was
one?
What?
That was Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yeah. Favorite shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favourite show, and that had some really cool shots on. That I actually got to do some comp on that, so that was pretty cool for me.
What was your favorite shot that you did on it? Was
But
it
yeah.
like a paint one? Was it a comp one? What did you like? What work did you look at and you're like, man, smashed it?
God, I'm trying to think. Such a long time ago. Can you come back to me?
Yeah, sure,
I'll
mate.
come back to you.
Yeah, it's tricky trying to think of like something
Oh,
that's
yeah.
definitely not out, definitely not any spoilers. So
I'll tell you my.
Yeah,
I'll
go
tell
for
you
yours,
Yeah,
man.
because my favourite ones aren't out yet, so I can't say. But
yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, Carlos, what was the favorite one that you've done on a movie?
The World's End.
Yeah.
The World's End. Well, Prep and Roto, yeah, for sure. The World's End.
Uh-huh.
I was souping on that show, and there was this crazy shot that was shot like from top,
Mm-hmm.
and there was some strings with lights, and then there was this robot girl with 2 legs on her arms.
I
just
do know the
swinging
shot.
it,
Yeah.
swinging it,
Uh-huh.
and she had like some prosthetic legs on her arms.
Yeah.
And the way she was rotating that was like super fake. So we had to remove those big, huge legs
Mm-hmm.
to add CG legs.
Oh man.
And that was crazy because she was moving so much and everything was in perspective. And then there was the strings of lights creating flares. Dude, that was crazy.
That's tricky.
Man. There was like Rampage was a soup on that show,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "Holy shit, how are we gonna do this?" And it took me like, I don't know, 2 weeks to nail that one. But that was crazy. Again, I looked at that. I was like, "Oh yeah, I can paint this, and I can reconstruct all the cloth because big. I can imagine like huge legs on your arms,
Yeah.
just going in front of your body, and you had to reconstruct all that cloth, moving cloth.
Dude, that's tough. Yeah, that's
was
some tricky
so
frame by
good.
frame paint.
That was so good.
I did have a shot on Turtles that I was really proud of, but it was omitted, so I can't talk about it.
Oh,
It took me
I
like-
remember that.
It took me like 5 weeks or like 6 weeks or something.
I remember
Oh man.
that. I remember that.
So everything that I had, I poured into this shot. Like every skill that I'd learned, like over the past sort of two years or more, was thrown into this, and then it was omitted. I was devastated.
and then I took it and put it in my shot.
Oh yeah, so Chris, you can
True.
say what you did with it actually, because
True.
I finished it, and it was a final omit, which means
So actually,
was,
you shared Chris' shot because there's some of your shots still there.
you can see something that I'd done, but it wasn't mine anymore. It was Chris's. Yeah, he made it work for his shot, but so as a final omit, it means that it was like all of the paint was done, the match move was done, the lighting was done, everything else, comp was done, and it made it through to like the final stage, and then they decided to cut it from the movie afterwards after deciding, it wasn't fitting with the theme. So Chris, what did you do with the paint and prep that I'd done?
Basically, it was like a similar angle, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and It did a bit of to try and get it to work, but yeah, basically it just went over big.
Copy paste over this section, change the angle a little bit.
He got it working because there was like rolling shutter and stuff like that, which was really tricky to fix.
Oh man, yeah, the rolling shutter stuff on that show was tricky because you've got like smoke that's lighting up at different speeds in different sections, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was pretty much what you done worked really well for like my shot, and it was like, well, either start again, which would have been pointless, or take the amazing stuff he'd done and out the door.
Oh, thanks, buddy. You made me blush.
Oh,
But it's
so cute.
my boo.
Oh.
Oh my god, so much honey. Tess, tell us about your shot. Best shot.
Shot.
Oh,
Basically, I would just say like anything where I get to. I would love.
Sorry, mate, you're
Then,
cracking
like,
up. Say that again.
Oh. Anything basically when I get to paint in silhouette, because I can't really think of a single shot or anything, but basically, as much about how the shot, more actually about what I do in the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let me help. Let me help you. Scott asked, like, question number 2: what was the most painful shot and why? That you must remember.
I know yours.
That you must remember.
Well, is that who's that directed at, Chris?
You.
Oh, what was mine?
Do you remember Roto in Insurgent?
Man, this show was tough. Yeah, the turnaround, the bid days were always really tight, and we had a lot of work to get done in a short amount of time. Yeah, there was some tough work on that, and it was a lot of motion blur. But like, you'd have someone like punching the camera, which is like the most tricky part of motion blur when you're trying to rotate that, because the software doesn't understand if a spline is moving like pretty much the same position, it's just changing in depth. How do you simulate that in a program that doesn't know how to understand that? So trying to get some of those edges to work, I was like tearing my hair out one day because I was trying to like do something clever, and it was nothing clever to do there. It's just brute force it. No? And then even then I was trying to do like some sneaky shapes, sneaky shapes that aren't allowed, like using for one frame and like doing a before and an after frame and just sort of using it for that one. But even that I couldn't get to work because you had like inter keyframe movements where the camera hadn't picked up on like a movement in like between frames. There was like you needed an extra frame between it to sort of interpolate. Oh dude. You know that we
with all the flapping hair and cloth.
Oh, she had the zipper on the front of her jumpsuit that she was wearing in one of the shots that I was doing. She like turns to the side, and then it'd be like super sharp, and then motion blur over the next few frames, then like super sharp. And I went through, obviously, with my OCD, and I drew like each rung of the zipper. If you look at a zipper, you've got like each rung of the zipper. So like I'd gone through and done like each rung, and then like separated it out. Obviously, I hadn't just done like one shape of going in and out. Like each one was a separate shape, and moving it all together. But then like the fabric would flap and like wave. So you're trying to. Yeah, that was some tough work. How about you, Chris?
My worst shot.
Yeah, your toughest or your worst. Yeah.
I've always enjoyed the shots. They've always been like, I think pretty much every new shot I start is usually like, oh my god, what are you gonna do to get that to work?
Yeah, there's got to be one where you were like pulling your hair out trying to get it to work, though, right?
Oh god, I'm trying to think now.
Carlos.
I'm kind of trying to suppress those memories.
Sorry, which one?
He's like he tries to suppress those memories.
He tries to suppress those memories.
Carlos, do you have one in mind?
Which one?
Like a tough shot that you like hated or you found difficulty with.
Ooh.
No.
Wait. Let me just send. Tess.
Chris, you got one?
Yeah. Carlos, do you remember that shot on Exodus I had to do where I had to paint the water
I remember this shot.
when it was coming into the boat, and I had to paint all the splitters and all the ripples because what did I have to remove? I can't remember.
You had to remove
The
one of the
leg.
legs because the crocodile had the leg. So you had to like
That was it.
remove the legs. They could put the crocodile snapping his jaws.
Oh, I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Such a long time.
That was
Yeah,
good.
I tried so many techniques to get that to work. I don't even know how I got it working in the end. I think just the prep gods looked down on me and just gave me inspiration.
Were you doing that in stereo as well, Chris?
Oh,
Oh,
look us here.
Is that Mr. Scotty?
Look us here.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hey, buddy. I like the product placement that you have behind you as well, Scotty. It's like episode 8, episode 7.
So cute. Look at that.
All the missus work right here. She did all the framing for all of these.
Oh, nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Partnership in heaven.
I like
Yeah.
the one at the top.
There was so many voices there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
I like the artwork across the top.
Yeah, they're good, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Oh, that is beautiful. I don't want to show you the framework that I have on this one because it's so bad.
What framework, Carlos?
It's so bad.
It's blue tack. You can't call it a frame. It's blue tack.
It's not. No, it's not.
How you doing, Scotty?
How's it going,
I'm
buddy?
good. Just getting over night time here, and we saw that you were live, so I won't be on for too long.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
that's so
It's 10
good.
to 1.
Oh, hello. Where does the time go? Yeah.
I think we're still gonna watch UFC.
I think we probably are. Yeah.
It's starting in like 1 hour.
So Scotty's a compositor from ILM that I work with.
Hi.
You said that as if you didn't know.
Well, no, I was introducing him to anyone that was watching.
No, we were talking about you, Scotty.
Yeah, we were talking about Scotty for a while.
Actually talking about you because of your desk.
Yeah, because of my desk, because of my toys, because of my bringing of TIE fighters to work. Yeah, I heard all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Scotty
man.
taught me how to do some additive keying as well. Like when I was trying to get my head around some of the keying stuff, he was like, "Yeah, I'll spend some time with you tonight, and I'll go through the keying." So I've still got the same scripts that he showed. Like I exported the EXRs from the sequence on Doctor Strange, and I've got like Scotty's notes that I like refer back to every so often if I'm doing the additive keying stuff.
It's so good, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get you to send those back to me because I forget how to do it myself.
You know what, buddy? I would be happy. I'll stay late one night. I'll talk you through the process. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Give and take, huh?
Mate, what are you working on now?
So, I heard. Pardon, sorry.
What are you working on now?
I'm working on. I don't know if I can tell you even what I'm working on.
Oh,
Secrets.
secrets.
What have you just been working on, Scotty?
Yeah, what did you finish?
We just finished up on Ready Player One.
Whoop,
Same
whoop.
project.
Sweet. Some sweet stuff in there?
It's very good. It's a very, very good-looking piece of work. Visually, very, very nice.
Oh, man. I'm looking forward for that. Really looking
Very.
forward for that.
Yeah, I gave you guys the question of what shot was your favorite.
What was yours? What was yours?
Oh, mine. My most favorite shot. I think it's going to end up being the same kind of answer. I didn't think about it, but it's probably going to be one that I can't talk about. But one of my favorite ones.
Well, after that, your second favorite one.
My shot was. It required the smallest amount of work and just looked fantastic. That was the shot that you have of in the trailer for episode 8. You have the broken helmet,
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
a couple of tendrils of smoke
Oh,
coming
nice.
out of it. And all I had to do was add the smoke. So it was like the shot looked great, and there's so much sound to it as well. That adds to the shot. And all you had to do was track in some smoke, and that worked. But my question to you guys is, what's your most shot? What do you remember being the most painful shot?
Yeah.
Why?
So Chris had just said his one from like from Exodus that was tricky about like removing what was it, Chris?
Painting.
I had to paint a leg that was splashing around in the water in the boat.
Oh,
and it was
I remember that.
stereo as well, right? Was that stereo as well?
Yeah, but that shot was not stereo.
It wasn't.
No, that paint was not stereo.
That would have killed me. That would have been stereo as well.
Impossible, man.
It was a tricky shot, I remember. Yeah, I remember it specifically.
That was tricky. That was really tricky.
Yeah.
And it was actually your first paint shot ever as well. Pretty much.
Outside of the training.
Yeah.
Out of the training, yeah.
Function times.
Yeah. Because the first shot that I gave you guys was it was a test shot. And it was like 10 frames or 20 frames each. Right?
Chariot race.
Yeah. And then after that, you guys got actually a production shot with the schedule. And Chris was the first one to pick up the paint, and it's like boom, he got one of the worst.
Yeah, that was tough, man.
But challenging.
Yeah, some excellent tough stuff.
Dude, my worst shot for me. Painful. Oh, yeah. Painful. You want to talk about painful?
Pain. Yeah, tell me about your pain, man.
7,000 frames of retime
paint.
Spectre. Oh, you all remember that.
I loved it though. I like frame by frame paint, man.
No. But that was painful.
It was some long hours. But
oh, dude.
I don't think that was the toughest.
When I would say painful, it was like because it was draining. The energy was draining, and I kept it all together.
Yeah. Until
the last day at like 6 a.m. I was like, no, I had enough. I'm just so tired.
Yeah.
I can't hold it anymore. So that was
the opening shot where they had the small retime on the 7,000 frames, and you have to paint out all of the retime.
Yeah.
You have to paint out all of the retime tearing.
You guys were talking about. I was like, what the hell are you guys on about? See, that's what happens. Suppressed memories.
What? You don't remember that shot? All of us. And Scott. Scott was actually...
Yeah.
I remember you singing and playing karaoke songs.
Exactly.
That was what got me through, man. Listening to like Genie in a Bottle or like Britney Spears at 4 a.m. with Carlos singing it out loud.
Dude,
I had a massive sugar rush on like Krispy Kremes and Coke. I don't mean drink. No, I'm joking. It was the drink.
Do you remember the pages of fixes? Like we had like a really short deadline, and there was like 3 more pages of fixes.
Yeah, so every day it was the last day we had to work on it, so it's like scrambling to get everything together, and then like the next day it would be like, oh, we've got some more notes, and it was the paint and Roto team that we had at ILM at the time, so we had a big chunk of the dream team there. But how about you, Scotty?
Well, that was a pretty painful shot. I've got to admit, like that does hold a very special dark corner of my heart.
You know, I got the thumbnail. I brought the thumbnail home. The thumbnail that you put on the board, I brought him home to remember that shot was the craziest ever. What about you?
Yeah, I was trying to think, Carlos. For some of your students watching, how many seconds are actually in 7,000? I'm trying to think.
7,000 frames.
It's like
divided by 60.
Frames.
Divided by 60.
One shot. How many seconds is that? Because it's like saying like $50 billion. Like that's not something to quantify.
Yeah. Measure it in Maserati cars. Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, but the opening was like 5 minutes long, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
it was around 5 minutes.
The opening shot, like the big one shot at the start of Bond.
So
then I guess if
24 frames per second, 291 seconds divided by 60, 4.8 minutes. Yeah. 5 minutes.
Man. So the case of like that small retime. So then that was literally, if anyone's used a Kronos or Oflow.
It wasn't dynamic retime. Yeah, it was every single frame was broken. Beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was tough work. It was very, very tough work.
It was beautiful. It was actually we had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
Tough work, but we did it, and it looked great in the end. It was just it's it was, I think, even like Mark Bukowski, the VFX soup, even turned around and said, "Yeah, estimate a retime."
Yeah. That was really great.
We had the director that turned up to the crew screening as well. That was saying like,
that's so good.
He was thanking a lot of people, and it's like thanks to ILM for like the last minute changes and stuff, which was nice.
Even though it was a ridiculously painful shot, the thing that then stood out was that it was recognised that it was a very painful shot.
Yeah.
And that the work.
Yeah.
Which it makes it far more worthwhile. But in terms of my most painful shot, a show of hands, who here has seen 47 Ronin?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Hello, buddy. Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen that.
Let me guess. Frame Store. Yeah.
Frame Store. It was a Frame Store. Not necessarily that it was a Frame Store that it was painful, but
Yeah, but I know a lot of people that
was
are
shot.
working in there. Yeah, doing that.
Yeah, that film required a big crew. But lost my phone. Lost my phone. Hang on. I had a stand. It's a terrible stand. So what was bad about that film was, I think, all of the stereo camera rigs at the time were rented out, and there were none available. So I believe they had to make their own. And so the stereo alignment of the two images was off, wasn't perfect. If they did have a camera rig, if that was the case, then basically the stereo alignment was slightly off. And so technically that meant trying to marry those two images, paint and roto stage, which is what I was working at the time. It meant that to compare things in silhouette was just a bit of a challenge to get them to work together. And there was a shot, there's one of these Ronin that had, I don't know, the longest hair. Without spoilers, like, and obviously it was like Asian hair. So from a technical point of view, like, that's incredibly fine, very defined black hair. Guy gets hit by this time shifting monk, and there's a slow-mo shot of the guy just hitting the floor, and it was probably about 3/4 speed.
Wow.
And every individual hair stereo.
That's nuts, dude.
Misaligned. Stereo alignment. Crazy.
It was, and the thing was, and the motion blur as well was such a pain, because it was it seemed like the shutter angles were slightly different for the two cameras.
Oh no!
And so it was like the most.
Oh, shutter angle was different from both cameras.
It was just
That would be fine.
Off.
That would be
just
lovely.
slightly off. And this is the thing, like, when you're working in stereo and you've got the two cameras there, you're gonna get ever so slight discrepancies. Add high frame rate onto that, and then it becomes incredibly evident. So when you enter in, sorry, I've got a cold and I've got such a tickle in my throat.
No worries, buddy.
That when you then enter in your camera motion blur settings into silhouette, and you think you're following the right line on your hero camera, so like your right camera, for instance, your right plate.
Yeah, and then when you convert, it all goes down.
Left, it's not the same. So then you're cheating the motion blur for every other frame.
Man, that sounds super tough.
Like a second and a half, and I think it took me like 3 weeks.
Freaking hell.
Like back and forth, you know, getting it done. God, it was tough. But visually the film looked great in the end.
Yeah. It was a major flop, but I really liked the looks of that movie.
Yeah.
It was one of those, right? It's like, yeah, it looks great, but and then people don't like it, or just like Rotten Tomatoes just say really bad about the movie, and I'm
not sure. What does that? Tess, did you have a
Tess? Tell us. Craziest shot
Huh?
ever.
Your
Share
toughest,
woes.
like your toughest, or like the most painful shot that you've done.
Nothing compared to what Scott has done, obviously. But I think I've done is one I worked on 4.
Uh-huh.
How's that?
Wait, which Thor? As in the Thor, the first one or the second one? The first one.
The first one, no.
It was cracking up. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I think she said Ragnarok.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
the new one.
Yeah. Where basically there was this, they needed to remove a net. So basically I frame by frame paint his face, which was pretty damn hard because it's well in focus. Yeah. And it was kind of like very soon too. It was just like, oh, great. But it was very challenging, but also at the same time, I kind of loved doing it because it was also challenging. So
Yeah.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
of doing
an awful shot.
it's about the reward, right? It's the reward after that.
I like the challenging is the most fun, like
Yeah.
the most fun shots. But yeah, sometimes it's you're trying to get something to work and it's not working the way that you've done it. That's when it starts to get like a little tough, huh?
It's
a
a
little
love.
painful.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
It's like you're the worst shot because after you finish it,
Yeah.
you feel like that instant reward of like,
Yeah.
yes, did I do this?
Yeah. It's when you're stuck in the moment.
I hate you.
You're pulling out your
and
hair.
I love you at the same time.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Crazy, man.
Mhm.
Crazy.
And it's like 3 a.m. and you can't get these shapes to copy
Yeah.
the motion blur. And you're like, why isn't this working? and then you finish the shot and you're like, oh man,
Oh,
actually, this looks good.
It's
I'm
the
happy
worst
now.
when
Yeah.
it's like.
sorry.
It's the worst when it's like. You think the easy shots are going to be easy, and then they end up being the hardest. And the hardest shots, which you think are going to be insanely hard, end
Yeah.
up being the quickest and easiest to do.
Oh, dude, that happens.
That,
That happens. That happens in comp. Sometimes you have that really simple, just like talking head, right? Just like talking head with
Yeah.
a green screen.
Mm.
It's like, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake.
Yeah.
And then there's something in there that is going to be challenging. The green screen or the way it was shot, I was like, the debayering on the shot was not amazing. The green screen is not amazing.
Yeah.
There's something in there that keeps throwing you off. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this was supposed to be really simple. And
Yeah, yeah.
or the background, the light on the background doesn't match what you're doing on the foreground.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh shit, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this was supposed to be a simple shot.
Well, there's like there's some stuff in the new Thor where they'd filmed it. I don't know.
my god!
I don't know which way round because I haven't seen it, but I heard about
the
it.
hammer.
The stuff that they've filmed like inside, and they wanted to change it so that it was outside in the movie,
The
right?
hammer.
Oh,
the
this
hammer.
is it. Is
There's
this
a
the
lot
one?
of people on like public, like Facebook and forums talking about that shot. It looks horrible. Well, yeah, it looks horrible. But look at the way it was shot. It was shot for like.
It wasn't meant to be done this way. Yeah. So
No, it was in a completely different environment. On the trailer, you can see it on the trailer.
Uh-huh.
And then on the final, and it looks completely different.
That's crazy.
Yeah, sometimes it's not our fault, right?
No, there's a couple of VFX film faux pas. Well, I guess it's not a VFX faux pas, it's the film production faux pas.
Yeah.
Where, and lighting it, because light is what we deal with effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're lighting something like Alejandro saying, like it was lit for a city,
Yeah.
like an alley,
Yeah.
to put in the middle of a field on a cliff edge, or actor in that's now got a moustache, and you have to remove that.
Yeah.
These problems where then they come to us and are like, "Oh, hey, can you fix it?" It's like, I can't change the light that you've captured.
Yeah.
I can do so much. Like, you can only push that boundary
Yeah.
so far before you
Yeah.
might as well go back to the drawing board.
There's that classic King Kong, not the new one, the older one. Classic King Kong sequence where like the actors are running through the legs on the dinosaurs on the island, and like the lighting on the people as they're running through the legs is just identical. Like it doesn't change. You're expecting like some light that's hitting the dinosaurs, that's like hitting their face at different points when the legs are going back and forward, and it's just like the same shade the entire time.
I think I remember that one. They just stand out so much. They look almost cut out. And
Oh.
Yeah.
effectively, they.
Come on, guys. There's stuff that we can't help.
The irony is though that was one of the movies, but before I knew a lot about visual effects, I was like, oh man, look at this like cool CG massive King Kong, man, visual effects is awesome, this is what I want to do. It's like one of the movies that sort of spurred me on to want to do visual effects specifically with film, where I was like, yeah, visual effects is awesome, dude. Look at this awesome King Kong.
It worked.
and then looking back on it, it's like it's shown as like a tricky example of trying to comp.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
I was remembering because we did a few shots of Superman, like the famous famous mustache removal.
Yeah.
That was painful. I was watching people that were doing that, and that was tricky, man. That was really difficult. And the result is actually I haven't seen the movie yet, but I saw one of the shots, and it looked quite nice. I don't know about all of them.
Yeah.
I've heard that there's some of them that they're not incredible.
Just a lip that's not tracked into place, and it's just like swimming around or something, huh?
Well, the one that I've seen,
I haven't seen any.
The one that I've seen, it actually turned out quite good.
It's got to be tough if you're doing it.
We did a good job on that one. But I'm still to watch the movie
I haven't seen it
because I've done some couple of cool shots on that. So I really want to watch that.
Well, I guess if you wanted to do it properly, like if you wanted to properly remove the mustache, you'd have to go like through layout and like body tracking and texturing and lighting. Was this the way that it was done?
Well, we had a full CG digidouble.
Oh, I'd understood that it was maybe just like a prep thing. Can you just patch out his mustache and the stretching skin and the change in light?
No, that was everything. We had the prep version.
They changed the whole bit.
Well, yeah. This is why I thought it was just so insane.
Prep. We had CG.
Yeah.
We had everything, and it was a big mix.
Yeah,
it was a big mix to make it work. And sometimes you look at the original, and this was the stupid thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I was looking at the original, and I was saying, "Oh, that doesn't look good," and I was saying, "Oh, but this is the reference from another shot. This is the actual guy." I was like, "Oh shit."
That's the point where you're like, maybe the visual effects is like is getting pretty good. Like it
is.
It's like when you're referencing to something else and you're like,
and
oh man, this looks terrible, and you're comparing like A/B, and it's like, oh, actually this is played. That lens flare was like that was there when we shot it.
Yeah, man, crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's been great to talk to you guys. I might have to duck out.
All right, buddy. No, it's been great to talk to you, buddy. I'll see you.
See
you on Monday if you're back to work on Monday. If you're feeling better.
I'll be back to work, but I might be in a different building. But I'll probably drop by to say hello.
Oh, sad times.
I want to visit you guys. Soon. Yeah. Before I head to Vancouver, I'll go
might
there.
have to book out in a minute as well. It's pretty late here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, cool.
actually, we should wrap it up. Bye,
See you,
Scotty.
Scotty.
Bye,
See you,
Scotty.
buddy. Bye, mate.
Oh my God, he's dying.
Yeah.
Don't die, buddy. Don't die.
We need you to comp all the things.
I won't.
No, promise.
You have so much comp to do. You can't. you can't be ill. It's not allowed.
Guys, it's 1:15. We should wrap it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I still have an exercise to shoot and some bags to pack for tomorrow.
When you say exercise to shoot, is this like you filming doing like some squats and some press ups, or is this like filming some exercising?
Yeah. And we're gonna watch UFC. So.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. See me some fights.
All right. Okay, guys, this was really good. Sorry about the technical issues, but honestly, we didn't have any time. I just told these guys a few hours ago, I was like, oh yeah, let's do this, and they're like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So yeah, I had to I had to prep this in literally 5 minutes. So
We got back from a long day, had dinner, and it's like, let's do a
Crazy,
podcast.
Crazy. So yeah, it was quite challenging to set up a brand new thing with more people in going through Google Hangouts. But I think the second part turned out pretty well. So people are not complaining, and we still we had some.
And it's still like crazy. It's crazy early in like most parts of the world where they'd be watching this, like England, where like Tess and Chris are. It's like it's stupid early in the morning. It's same in Portugal. Like,
my eyeballs are melting.
Yeah.
Is that just for my beautiful face, buddy?
Yeah, guys, we had a lot of people watching this. There's the Daniel Loris saying, I remember those days at DNEG. It was such a pleasure sharing some time with you doing Roto for Exodus. It was my first job in the industry, and I was blown away by how tough and amazing it was. So yeah, Daniel, a lot of people saying hi.
Were there any questions that we didn't answer as well? Because we could always like post a message about that another time, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Send any questions. We can have another look in. I can reply to any comments or anything.
Absolutely. It was really good to have you guys here.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Such a pleasure.
Such a pleasure.
So whenever you want to do it again, I'm game for it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right.
See you in a few days, Chris.
Bye. See you, Chris. See you, Tess.
Bye.
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 See you. And thank you very much, Mr. Alejandro.
Most welcome, buddy.
This was really nice, man.
Anytime.
Thank you very much for joining me for the class, for your career talk. It was crazy good, and the demo you showed some crazy skills, and the guys were really enthusiastic. And then we had some drinks as well, and we met some crazy French guys that were like singing some dirty songs. So yeah,
so much singing.
it was
So many €1 shots.
It was pretty crazy, man.
Cool.
Pretty crazy. All right.
Bye,
guys.
Till next time.
See you. See you next time. I don't know when, but yeah, we'll post it. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
See you, Chris. See you.